The opinions expressed in the following programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Rogers nor Rogers TV.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Politics. I'm Debra Hutchison. Our guest this week is Scugog Mayor Bobbie Drew, who joins us now via Zoom. Hello, Mayor Drew. How are you doing?
We're doing just fine here. Thank you, Deborah. And how about you?
We're just fine, thanks. So, unlike Toronto and Peel, Scugog is part of Durham Region. We're now in the red zone. The lockdown was lifted. I just want to get your thoughts. Did you have any concerns, or do you have any concerns? Do you think it was lifted too early, or was it the right time?
We're pretty good here in Skougog. My main concern, of course, remains the safety of the community. But we've put in place the measures required with the information that we had available, and we have the services needed. We've provided them to reduce the exposure for the safety and the public of our staff. But we're still in a state of emergency here, and our emergency control group continues to meet regularly. But we're happy to be in the red for our local businesses who have been dramatically impacted by this whole thing. And the majority can open in some capacity, and our local retailers and businesses have done a tremendous job to put protocols in place to keep everyone safe. Businesses have seen a huge increase in operating expenses and have pivoted their business models to online and curbside pickup. And the success of our small business is critical to our community and our economy, and we need to support them at every opportunity.
And of course, Skougog hasn't had the number of COVID cases that other municipalities in Durham have had.
No, we haven't. We've been very fortunate. In this second wave, we did have an outbreak at one of our nursing homes and long-term care homes, and that was very unfortunate, and that increased our numbers considerably. But in the community, outside of the long-term care home, it has been very, very light. We're very grateful for that.
Now, I have to ask you, Pickering Mayor Dave Ryan was talking once the lockdown was lifted, and he made the point, I guess, following up on the number of visitors from outside our area to his shopping malls and his area right before Christmas. Concerns that now that the lockdown is lifted again, while at any other time they would welcome everyone with open arms, but encouraging people not in our area to not visit Pickering at that time. Is that a concern for you too?
Yeah, I'm worried that people from the lockdown areas are visiting Skougog, but I find that a lot of the people are following the guidelines. However, there is a segment that, for whatever reason, feel it's not a concern for them, and this puts everyone's hard work and safety at risk. Our best defense is to follow the guidelines we all know so well: wearing a mask, washing your hands, and staying 2 meters away. But my statements continue to note we look forward to welcoming visitors from outside the region to Skougog when it is safe to do so. We all have a part in keeping each other safe. Vaccines are coming and brighter days are ahead. But for now, please stay the course.
Right. Now, in talking to Uxbridge Mayor Dick Barton, he noticed that their trail system is drawing people from everywhere, as everyone tries to find a way to get back to nature and deal with this pandemic. Are you noticing an increase perhaps in some of your, natural, beautiful outdoor areas like Lake Skougog?
Well, yeah, I mean, Uxbridge has a wonderful trail network, and we have trails as well, but we have a lake, and this is where we're finding a lot of visitors, and our community is out there enjoying the trails that we've got on the lake. We've got a skating oval and we've got rinks, and there's lots of room out there, but there's also lots of people. And we have to thank John Mackey from the marina for making those that ice oval and the rinks. People are really, really enjoying them, but they have to do it safely. Even outside, you should wear a mask, especially if you cannot keep within 6 feet or 2 meters away from people.
That
And
really is
and there's the ice fishermen as well, or ice fishers as
right,
well. Yeah.
right, because it has been cold off and on, actually.
Hmm. Yeah.
So uh, that's real community, isn't it? When you get someone like Mr. Mackey helping to groom that ice oval.
Yes. Yeah. It's tremendous community spirit on behalf of John Mackey, and we are all very, very grateful to him.
Okay, let's move on. As you mentioned, let's talk a little bit more about the businesses. You know, you're very distinctive downtown, such beautiful, unique businesses. It's been hard for every business throughout this. What are they telling you now that they're allowed to open again?
Well, they've certainly been struggling. They've faced late lockdowns and implementing measures required to open, and it's increased their operating costs. So they are struggling. They're hanging in there though. But you know, these people are our neighbors and our friends and family, and they support our community sports teams. They sponsor fundraisers and events and so much more. They're a key part of our community, and they need our support. And I will continue to advocate for our local business and their need.
Have you lost many businesses throughout the two
Um,
phases?
a few. Fortunately, though, when there's an empty store, there's somebody moving right back in. So we do not have an awful lot of empty stores on Queen Street in Port Perry, in particular. So yes, we've lost a few naturally, but all in all, they're filling up again.
Isn't that incredible when you think about it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard enough to launch a business at the best of times, but during a pandemic, people are really gutsy and very, I think, brave.
Well, I can name three right off the top of my head that opened during the pandemic. So
Wow,
that's incredible, and they're doing well.
good,
Mhm.
good. How are you supporting the local businesses?
Well, Skougog itself has extended the patio season so to allow outdoor dining options to continue, and we extended it to later in the fall. But when we discovered that it really didn't affect the snow plowing and clearing, we've just allowed them to stay open. And you know, there's some warm days ahead, and I think people would enjoy sitting outside and enjoying the warmer air and the sunshine and having a coffee or having a lunch. Most of them are heated. So that is one thing in particular that Skougog has done. And of course, we continue to advocate, but the majority of financial relief comes from the federal and provincial levels of government with the many programs and financial supports that they have. And the region of Durham has assisted to promote and develop online and curbside options. And they established a digital Main Street along with a website, Downtowns of Durham. And part of the region has also instituted the Invest Durham, and they had a session called Roadmap to Recovery. And that was filled with information for local businesses that include navigating the financial supports available, employment law, mental health issues in the workplace. So the resources are available, and I hope our business community takes advantage of those resources. Recovery will be an important focus, and when we can fully reopen and return to more normal. Only we can all make a difference. Shop local. Use our local stores and our restaurants along with the other services.
Right. Let's talk about the 2021 budget. You know, the pandemic really threw a wrench into 2020. Where are we at with the Skougog 2021 budget?
Well, we just passed it last week. Staff and council were very proactive in addressing the pandemic impacts in 2020 with short-term options to help offset the impacts of the pandemic. But they're not sustainable in the long run, and we have to be able to continue the provision of services in a post-COVID environment. The demand for municipal services continues, and staff have reviewed opportunities to create savings and revenue increases where possible. But there are significant pressures affecting the normal operations of the municipality, like inflation, impacts on the economy, increased costs of materials, and other pressures outside of our control. There's significant uncertainty of how COVID will impact the municipality this year, 2021, and we have to be prepared to absorb those cost impacts if needed, including those related to COVID and lost revenues. This uncertainty, combined with the reality of continuing service demands, require us to look long-term to make sure we continue to provide the services. And while we're on the budget we passed last week has actually caused some confusion. And I just want to be very clear that the Skougog property tax bill is collected for 3 service levels: the municipality, the region, and education. The total increase on your tax bill on the average, the total increase will be 2.58%.
Right.
On your tax bill for 2021. That is the increase, not some of the percentages that we've been hearing. 1.5% is going to Skougog, primarily supporting roads. So the rest of it goes to the region and education. But 1.5% is the increase on your tax bill for Skougog, and that is primarily for roads and infrastructure. So
Right.
I just want to be clear about that, because there is a lot of confusion and a lot of angst out there in the public.
Yeah, as people, I guess so many people have struggled to keep their head above water. Taxes are inevitable, but just one more stress.
Yes,
On
absolutely.
everyone, right?
But we have to keep our roads and our infrastructure safe, and we have to continue to invest in that. I mean, I look at my own road, and it's pretty bumpy, and as many roads are in Skougog Township, lots of cracks, and they, it needs to be looked after. So we have to pay attention to that for safety.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. We're going to take a quick break. This is Talk Politics. Our guest this week is Scugog Mayor Bobbie Drew. Don't go away. More to come after this.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Sometimes it's hard to say goodbye to an old friend. But when you're saying farewell to your vehicle, Kidney Car makes it fast and easy. Just call or visit our website. We'll take any vehicle in any condition and give you a tax receipt for a minimum of $300. No headaches and no towing charges. It's the one-stop solution for getting rid of your unwanted vehicle in just a few short minutes. When your vehicles reach the end of the road, call us toll-free or visit kidneycar.ca.
We have a mouse problem.
With the what now? I'll catch it, sir.
If a picture of this mouse is tweeted out to Instabook Face or TikTok, we will be ruined.
No, sir, that's not gonna happen. That rodent is toast.
I will not let this hotel be ruined by a cat and a mouse!
I think I might have just pulled this off.
On this brand new episode of Social Life, we are recapping the wins and the fashion at the Golden Globes.
Plus, find out why Chris Harrison is getting the boot from the Bachelor franchise.
welcome back to Talk Politics. Our guest this week is Scugog Mayor Bobbie Drew. This is the first time we've spoken since you were elected chair of the Durham Regional Police Board. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, it was a bit of a surprise. Yeah.
Really? So it wasn't something that you had thought of, talked to people about, the possibility?
It was not on my radar until a couple of days before the election. I was happy with the way things were going. I really enjoyed working with the board. This is my second term working with the board. But when the previous chair decided not to run again, I was asked, and I thought, oh, yeah, I think I'd enjoy that challenge. So I did accept the nomination, and here I am.
And here you are, the first female elected chair of that board. Has that sunk in?
So I'm told.
Yeah. Does that really, when you think about it, do you think, like, wow, yeah, that's really something? And it is really something.
I guess it is. Yeah, I'd never really thought about it, but somebody asked me, and I asked, and I thought, oh, that's kind of neat.
And this is a very challenging time for police services everywhere. So to be the chair of this board, it's a challenging time for the service, is it not?
It certainly is. It certainly is, and that is one of my first goals. Of course, that was already in place. That we drafted up a format where we could get community input on helping communities to feel better about their police service. So, and we've made tremendous strides in the area of diversity and inclusion, but we have a ways to go, and we recognize that. And so we're looking at ways to strengthen our relationship with these diverse communities, and along with the Skougog Island First Nation. And so one of my other goals, of course, is the focusing on the health and well-being of our members,
Right.
because they have been under tremendous stress. They see terrible things every day, and we need to look after them. We need to make sure that they're healthy mentally and physically.
So many things on your to-do list. What would you say is your top challenge?
Well, the one I just mentioned is about the enhancing the trust and confidence in the police service, because we've heard of this worldwide, and I think that locally, I think that the public has a good impression of the police in Durham, but we also have to be proactive in making sure that we continue to have that trust and confidence in the police.
You also have put together, you said, the board's action plan to enhance trust and confidence in policing in Durham Region. And, and part of that, you invited, it was a community survey, and you wanted to hear from people. Correct?
Yes. Yeah, just my battery's running low. I better.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yes. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. So let's talk about the action plan and break down, your thoughts on it. The ultimate goal of that action plan.
Well, we have 4. The first is to strengthen transparency in decision making.
Yeah.
So the intention with that goal is to make sure that the community is well informed as possible about policing issues such as the budget and board policy and diversity and equity and so on and so forth. And we are introducing body-worn cameras this year, and we hope that will help with transparency.
That's right. Now, the body-worn cameras, as we tape this today, a media release came out saying that they are moving to their next phase. So we're one step closer to seeing that a reality.
Yes, we had a pilot project a couple of years ago. We have been through all of the data through that pilot project. It was a recommendation from the Police Services Board that we go ahead with it. The region last week approved the funding of just over $2 million to start the project. It is a very, very expensive project, but we feel it's worthwhile for transparency. So as we speak, our service is looking at purchasing the equipment, planning the training exercises that need to go along with it. And we'll move on from there. It will take a few years for the whole project to be fully implemented, but we're ready to start.
And of course, when we break down this action plan, another area was, as you mentioned, to improve diversity and inclusivity within the DRPS, internally and externally.
Yes, that's right. The idea is to improve our training and education related to diversity and equity, and equity, and to ensure that competence in these areas is evaluated by the organization. For example, when the board chooses its next chief of police, which is something that we're looking forward to this year, this will be a key consideration.
Right. And then they also say to strengthen, as you mentioned, service delivery related to mental health calls.
Yeah, the police are responding to a lot of calls related to people with mental health issues, especially during this pandemic. It's very, very hard with on people who have issues on mental health. And so sometimes the police are they're providing the service, but they might be in a better position. There might be other services that are in a better position to respond more effectively. But we do have to make sure that safety is the primary concern here. So oftentimes the police still need to step in even when the other services are providing that service for our people.
You know, I read some statistics. Actually, I was part of an event at Ontario Shores where they were talking about Durham police apprehension up by, I think it was like up by 77% from 2014 to 2018. That's even pre-pandemic. I can't imagine the number of calls that police are getting right now.
Well, yes, and I think it's also a consideration of people are being more open about this. They're talking about it, and so rather than hiding it, they're now calling for help. So in a way, that's a good thing. But of course, you know, with the pandemic, we're seeing a much higher increase.
Right. Now, I also have to ask you about the community survey that I guess it's almost finished now. You were asking for people's input.
Yes, we've advertised it all over the place. It's on social media, it's on the radio, it's I'm sure on Rogers as well. And we're looking for input into this. I think it closes March the 8th. But we still will take some written comments beyond that. But we are trying all sorts of avenues to get the public engaged in this whole process so that it's a more meaningful plan in the end.
Right. Now, speaking of March 8th, that marks International Women's Day. So I have to ask you, you know, politics for the longest time, and still is in some circles, is seen as a boys' club. You know, we've heard from other female politicians about their challenges and their obstacles once they've been elected to make meaningful change and to feel accepted, like they are part of this process. Talk to me about any challenges that you've encountered in your lengthy career in public service.
Well, I guess I'm really very lucky. I know that it exists. I have not personally felt any challenges, any obstacles in my way. I've been, well, I started very, very young. I was basically a toddler back in 1985 when I ran in my first election, and I lost to a woman. and I lost by 7 votes, so I didn't lose by much. And then I did lose another election. That was to a male, but he was the incumbent. So that happens. I didn't for 1 minute feel that it was because I was a woman. The majority of my council here in Skougog is women. There's quite a few women on regional council and certainly on the school board. When I was on the school board, there was quite a few women there as well. And I was on the school board from 1988 to 2000. So I personally have not felt those challenges or obstacles. And I'm very grateful for that.
Why do you think that is?
Well, maybe it's because I never assumed that there would be a challenge. I just had my goals in mind and went for it and was successful.
Certainly, though, I'm sure you've had your detractors throughout the years. How do you feel is the best way then to deal with someone that thinks, nope, you're not the right person for it?
Well, maybe I wasn't the right person for it. I choose to believe that my success is because I was the right person for the job. I don't feel that I got any one position or another because I was a woman or the other way. Like I would be insulted if I was elected or put into a position because I was a woman and not because I was the right person for the job.
You know what? We're almost out of time, but I have to ask you then, how do you foster such a great atmosphere amongst Skougog Council? It's such a harmonious group.
Yeah, I'm really very fortunate. We're very supportive of one another. We're very supportive of staff. We ask questions. I try to make sure that our council is well informed, and I think that they appreciate that because there's nothing worse than being blindsided. So I think, perhaps that is part of the success of our council is because they are well informed by myself.
You know what? I have to stop you there. We're out of time. Promise me you'll come back.
Absolutely.
Okay, Mayor Drew, Scugog Mayor Bobbie Drew, thank you for being our guest. Until next time, I'm Debra Hutchison. Bye for now.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
The story when the RCAF said Mach 2 fighter, 2-place 1,000-mile range, the British said it was impossible. The Yanks tried twice and failed. They said, you're dreaming. We said, fine, we'll build it right here in Toronto. And now you guys, my guys, are saying that it can't be done, that they were right?
Now that's the rocket that we used to get the model up to speed, and then the onboard sensors tell us that...
Come on, baby.
Damn it! But we did it according to your specs. The specs have changed.
We did it.
Arrow 201. You're cleared for takeoff.
We did it!
Although the government canceled the project and destroyed the prototypes, the Avro Arrow remains for Canada a world benchmark in aerospace achievement.